You're watching ITG Clips.
In terms of talking about the run game and this transition to what got us where we are today with Coach Rod's offense, there was a phrase or a term that Rich used to use at Glenville. Mash is what he used to call it, just like potatoes, M-A-S-H. That's the word informally that came to signify his mindset when he wanted to see our offense roll up its sleeves and punish a defense by running the football. This was often at Glenville during those times in the second half when we had a lead and wanted to kind of take the air out of the football game. The funny thing is, even back when we were throwing the football 50 times a week and breaking a laundry list of passing records, it felt like those were Rich's favorite in-game scenarios. Not the shiny parts of the throw game, but those moments when we were poised to slow the pace, line up in the dirt, and go old school to test the will of the defense. He'd lean into the huddle during a timeout, grit his teeth like he was about to wrestle a bear, and tell the O-line with a level of intensity that was elevated even for him, "All right, let's mash." It wasn't a suggestion, it was a mandate, delivered with a disposition that every offensive line I ever played with latched onto like red meat. In those situations, we of course recognized the defense was desperate to get the ball back. We knew they'd be throwing heavy numbers at the box, making running the football difficult to the extreme. But that was almost the point. When you could grind out a first down or two under those circumstances, it really was the final straw to breaking what remained of an opponent's will. The impact of being able to run the football successfully against a defense that knows it's coming is massive. What Coach Rod has learned over the course of his career, the more this goes on throughout the course of a football game, the more dispiriting it can become for a defense. The more those numbers start to climb and climb and climb as you push bodies and lean on them in the run game, the more a defense just checks out and doesn't even want to be there.
So I've always thought this: if somebody throws for 500 yards on you, that's a bad thing, but you can say, man, they had a great quarterback, great receivers and all that. But if somebody runs for 500, it takes your soul, your whole program. You want to think about quitting football. You know what I mean? And so the couple games that we've had that, it had been after the game, the look on the other team's face, that when he did that to us, it's almost like they wish they were anywhere else in the world other than there.
Look, make no mistake about it. We were as pass happy as they come. That's well documented. And spreading the field far and wide to throw the football in ways that many had never before seen was more fun than the law should allow. Being a small part of that was one of the great honors of my life. But it was in those moments in the second half of some of those wins in Glenville when we circled the wagons and went into mash mode that we got that first glimpse into the version of what Coach Rod would one day become. A coach who would change the game and win FBS conference titles in large part because of the things his offenses would do running the football. Yes, Coach Rod's was a system with its roots in the pass-heavy run and shoot, but it inched closer each year to a more balanced and more punishing approach to offense. Glenville State was still throwing the football more than running it, but as his tenure at GSC was winding down, that gap was closing. By 1996, Rich's final year in the Ville, the Pioneers were running the football 42% of the time. For more than half a decade, Coach Rod had modified and adjusted his system in the relative obscurity of the West Virginia Conference, tinkering and refining things until he was called to bring the offense into the FBS spotlight. That happened in 1997 when he joined head coach Tommy Bowden's staff at Tulane as the offensive coordinator. In New Orleans, he catered to the dual-threat talents of quarterback Sean King, maintaining the downfield passing threat of the offense while expanding the quarterback run game and maximizing the zone read innovation he'd stumbled across at Glenville.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to ITG Clips and In the Gun podcast for more WVU football content. Watch the whole podcast episode by clicking the link above or in the description.